Hello everyone, today's video is from the Vampire Diaries with a focus on the entire life story of Kai Parker. I can't believe how many of you requested this video. I really had no idea how popular Kai is in the Vampire Diaries franchise, so it was really refreshing to make a video on this character. On a quick side note, I will be covering the Underworld franchise in my next video. That video will be a detailed look at the life of Victor. Anyway, let's continue. Kai Parker is a major antagonist in the 6th season of the Vampire Diaries, and is just one of those characters you love to hate. He's not overly complicated in terms of who he is as a person, which is of course an apathetic psychopath. Kai's most notable trait was the fact he always added humour in with the awful atrocities he committed. I found myself laughing several times at his witty jokes right before he'd do something drastic. This trait was a common occurrence on the show, as other characters would do the same. Take Damon Salvatore for example. It's very rare that you wouldn't see him make a joke at the expense of his victims. Kai was born in Portland, Oregon in 1972 as the eldest son of Joshua Parker and twin brother of Joe. Born into the Gemini Coven as a siphon, Kai was considered unworthy and shunned by his family, which left him feeling alone and cast out. On top of that, he was not allowed to touch anyone, nor would he partake in the generational merge. And just to briefly highlight that last sentence everybody, he wasn't allowed to touch anyone. That's pretty harsh and quite cruel if you ask me. Okay, there was a reason behind it, he was a siphon, but bear in mind, this was when Kai was still a child. So for a young boy, not to know touch or to feel love, it would definitely contribute to their personality development. The Coven then decided that Kai and Joe would not merge, which meant that Joshua and his wife would continue having kids until another set of twins were born. It was just under 20 years before twins Luke and Liv were born into the Coven in 1991, and upon learning of this, in addition to so many years of neglect, Kai's true personality emerged and he went on a family killing spree, slaughtering 4 of his siblings, severely injured one, with the goal to add Liv and Luke to the death list, before forcing his own twin Josette to merge with him, so it's no wonder he left her alive. This would then see Kai take leadership of the Coven. Trying to save her siblings, Jo cloaked the twins before relinquishing her magic inside a knife, which subsequently would have prevented Kai from merging. Knowing the great threat that he posed and for the crimes he committed, the Gemini Coven used the Ascendant and then trapped him in the purgatory prison world of the very day he was sent there, May 10th, 1994. Something that's also noteworthy is the fact that despite the Gemini Coven owning and most likely creating the Ascendant, it only worked with Bennett blood. Now this is the only part the witches played in the spell's creation, and when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Why would the Gemini use their own blood? For starters, Kai could have gotten out if he found the spell in the Bennett Grimoire. It also prevented members of the Gemini Coven being taken hostage or injured in order to get their blood. It's a very clever move. Anyway, Kai is trapped in the prison world, forced to live out the same day over and over again for all eternity. The additional failsafe of the world was that it prevented Kai from taking his own life. If he did, he'd just reappear the very next day, or even sometimes hours later. So after spending the best part of 2 decades in the prison world, and basically knowing it like the back of his hand, Kai is shocked to see Damon Salvatore and Bonnie Bennett transported to his personal hell. He watched them for months, discovering that Damon was a vampire and that Bonnie was a Bennett witch, but he also realized that despite Bonnie's background, she no longer had her powers. Kai then came up with a plan to help Bonnie regain her powers by threatening Damon's life. After revealing himself to the two, he tricked Damon into drinking Ravane-infused whiskey, which greatly weakened him. When it appeared he was about to stake him, Bonnie, in a panic, regained her powers. Kai's plan had worked, and he was one step closer to getting out of this world. He revealed his plan to Damon and Bonnie after they captured him and held him hostage in the Salvatore house. Despite being their prisoner, Kai always appeared to be one step ahead in achieving what he wants. He proved that by being responsible for Bonnie regaining her powers, and he proved it again by manipulating her into testing the strength of her powers with a locator spell. When Bonnie discovered that the key to their escape, the Ascendant, was in Mystic Falls all along, Kai smiled and removed it from his pocket. That was twice he got Bonnie to do something he wanted her to do. It also showed his vast level of knowledge, and was the first time that Damon and Bonnie realised just how dangerous he could be. They quickly found out that these suspicions were well founded when Kai admitted to being the Malachi from the news article Bonnie found. The Malachi who slaughtered his siblings in cold blood. He showed no remorse, no guilt or any emotion, going on to state that he chose to rip out his sister Jo's spleen instead of killing her because he had a soft spot for her. Kai goes on to inform them that the Gemini Coven placed him in this world as punishment for what he did, and that he's a witch but has no powers of his own, which caused the Coven to shun him. Bonnie refused to do the spell, choosing to stay trapped in the prison world rather than release a killer like Kai into the real world. Kai humorously countered that the situation was a win-win. Damon and Bonnie could see their friends again, while he would kill off the remainder of the Gemini Coven. Kai then informs them that he is a siphon, grabs Bonnie's hand and drains a portion of her magic, giving them the ultimatum: either they help him perform the spell and everyone leaves, or he drains Bonnie dead and kills Damon. They both reluctantly accept. The only way the spell could be properly performed was with the assistance of a daily solar eclipse. When it was finally time, Bonnie correctly called Kai's bluff that he didn't know the spell, since it made no sense as to why he wouldn't just drain her completely, kill Damon, and go himself. She impaled him through the chest with an axe, threw the Ascendant into Damon's hands, and sent the vampire back to the world of the living, with the Ascendant shattering into pieces, much to Kai's rage. In defiance of Kai escaping, Bonnie stored her magic in a bear that was sent back to the real world too, believing she had finally stopped him permanently. However, Kai knew all along that all he needed to complete the spell was Bennett blood. He took Bonnie to his childhood home in Portland, where, being a siphon, he sensed his sister Jo's stored magic in a knife by the tree stump outside their home. Siphoning the magic from the knife while stabbing Bonnie, Kai successfully used the Ascendant and finally escaped the prison world, leaving Bonnie behind. Kai's first act back in the real world was to strangle the taxi driver that took him to the bar where his long-lost sister Liv worked. Refraining from informing her who he was right away, and obviously Liv not recognizing him, Kai handed her his ID. Liv had to look twice at the ID before realizing who he was and attempted to run. Kai immediately grabbed her arm, siphoned some of her magic and attempted to kill her. It took Tyler's intervention to save Liv as Kai fled. His next act was to abduct Jo at the hospital, cruelly stabbing an innocent woman to get to her. He brought Jo to the cemetery and met up with siblings Liv and Luke, who desperately wanted to escape the fate of having to take part in the merge. Kai's plan was to return Jo's magic so he and his twin sister could complete their merge as originally intended, with Kai more likely to emerge as the victorious twin. Jo then revealed that it was her choice to give up her magic and she has to choose to take it back. Kai took some of Liv's magic and started threatening her in front of Jo until his twin finally submitted and took back the magic from her knife. Kai mocked how predictable it was that she would only get her magic back to save her little sister, which once again highlights his own inability to feel compassion. Kai was then subdued by Damon and Alaric. He was moments from being killed until Jo convinced Alaric that she believed she could win the merge with Kai, as it wasn't fair that Liv and Luke had to merge because of their failures. Alaric chooses to knock Kai out and place him just across the border in Mystic Falls. However, Kai could feel the magic left in the earth by the travelers and siphoned it all from the earth, which in turn brought down the anti-magic barrier, seeing Kai become more powerful than ever before. He easily subdued Alaric and disappeared when Damon tried to kill him. He then kidnapped Elena and tested his magic on her. accidentally melting her daylight ring in the process. When Damon and Joe tried to rescue her, Kai's illusion fooled Damon into believing Elena was Kai, and he unintentionally impaled her. After being shot by Jeremy when trying to siphon Joe, Alaric then injected Kai with a sedative, and he was placed in an induced coma in order to wait for the magic to seep from him. He was then awoken by Damon in order to have him siphon the magic from Liz Forbes, as she was rapidly dying from the vampire blood her daughter Caroline gave her. After he siphoned the magic out of Liz, Kai breaks Damon's neck and kidnaps Joe again, forcing her to merge with him. Later that night, they begin the merge but are interrupted by Luke, who knocks Joe out. Luke then forces a reluctant Kai to merge with him, stating that they are the exact same age and from the exact same bloodline, so the merge should work. The two complete the ritual and both fall unconscious. Kai wins the merge and absorbs Luke's compassion, which actually changes him and his personality. He begins to understand what remorse and guilt is. He also struggles to accept what crying is and can't comprehend why it's happening. He then apologizes to Joe for ruining her life, and Damon plays to his empathy, convincing him to try to send some sort of message to Bonnie. Kai informs them that he only has the power to send one person to Bonnie, and everyone agrees that that should be Jeremy, but there is the possibility that Jeremy can get stuck there if Kai's power doesn't hold out long enough. Unexpectedly, Liv then attempts to kill Kai while he's in the middle of performing the spell, only for Jeremy's intervention. He begins to feel the effects of the merge with Luke, coughing up blood and feeling extremely weak. Kai then seeks out Joe and siphons some of her magic accidentally. It became clear to all that Kai was meant to have Joe's magic, and he was quick to remind her that should he die, then the entire Gemini Coven will die with him, including Joe. She willingly gives him her magic before Kai informs her she's pregnant and genuinely wishes her a happy life. Kai's guilt over his treatment of Bonnie really does begin to affect him, especially since he absorbed Luke's traits. So when Damon Salvatore asks Kai to send him to the 1903 prison world so he can find his mother Lily, Kai agrees to do so, but in exchange wants to be able to talk to Bonnie. He explains to Damon that Lily had killed over 3,000 people and was a ripper just like her son Stefan. The Coven intervened when she arrived in New York and imprisoned her in the snapshot of 1903. When Bonnie finally agrees to see Kai, he showed her he already had the ascendant to the 1903 prison world, and convinces her that he has the power to get there without needing a celestial event. His only stipulation is that, with him, Damon and Elena all in 1903, Bonnie would have to come too in order to remain safe from the now inhumane Caroline. In the prison world, Bonnie earns Kai's trust and tricks him, stabbing him in the back and leaves him all alone in the prison world as revenge for what he did to her. This act buried the personality of Luke within Kai as his previous sociopathic personality resumed control. Kai realizes nobody would ever change their opinion on him or give him a second chance, so he might as well prove everyone's concerns to be correct. However, Kai was not alone. He comes across the Heretics who feed on him and rejuvenate themselves. With the Heretics back to full strength, Kai released them and himself from the prison world. In exchange for their release, Lily Salvatore, who was already back in the real world, provided Kai with her vampire blood. After ingesting Lily's blood, Kai performs what would be his grand finale and the completion of his plan. At the wedding of Joe and Alaric, Joe receives multiple stab wounds in her lower back, just as she and her husband-to-be were saying their vows, as Kai turns off his invisibility cloak and reveals himself to the Gemini Coven and all in attendance. He inflicts a massive aneurysm to the attendants at the wedding, shattering most of the windows. The Gemini Coven then attempt to send Kai back to the prison world and complete a good portion of the spell until Kai pierces his neck with a shard of broken glass, killing himself, which in turn kills every member of the Gemini Coven, finally achieving his revenge. As Kai awakens due to Lily's blood, he drinks from his now dead father and completes his transition into a vampire, becoming the latest heretic. Now able to siphon magic from himself, Kai has an endless supply of magic and is even able to siphon the magic from Tyler's werewolf bite from his body. He also leaves a message for Bonnie informing her he's linked her life to Elena's, meaning the only way she can wake up is when Bonnie dies. There's no loopholes, no get out of jail free cards, it is death only. This was his revenge for Bonnie leaving him in the prison world and confirming he was wrong to ever try to change for the better. However, that was before Kai decided he wanted to make Damon suffer even more by making him choose between saving Bonnie's life or waking Elena up. Damon refused to decide and left Bonnie and a bemused Kai. This was just a distraction, however. He arrived back moments later and decapitated Kai, finally putting Kai's life to an end. Kai Parker is one of the best written characters in the Vampire Diaries franchise and is probably my all-time favourite antagonist. That concludes his life story and today's video. I really do appreciate you all supporting me and the growth of this channel. It really means a lot. Let me know what videos you want to see in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all in the very next video for Vampire Folklore.